to NPTI. My name is Chris Williams, Director of Education. Today we're focusing on special populations with a specific reference to the diabetic populations and people with high blood pressure. The purpose of today's video is to show you a series of exercises that are contraindicated to people with high blood pressure. In the fitness industry, contraindicated means do not do. It means that the risks are way greater than the benefits. The exercise we have chosen involves isometric exercises where there's pressing overhead to increase the arterial pressure gradient, and the last category is where the head is lower than the heart, which also increases the arterial pressure gradient that could potentially lead to a stroke. A little bit lower. So our first exercise in the series of contraindicated exercises for a high blood pressure client is a wall sit. A wall sit induces an isometric action of the quadriceps here, but also your glutes. From a clinical standpoint, an isometric exercise is essentially a muscle producing force but not visibly changing in length. The longer your client sits and the more tension produced here, they're likely to hold their breath. When they hold their breath, they induce the Valsalva maneuver. The Valsalva maneuver is technically expiring or trying to breathe out against a closed glottis. This will elevate the arterial blood pressure and could lead to a stroke. There is no argument that the plank is one of the best exercises for the local intrinsic core stabilizer muscles. However, for a diabetic population, again, it induces an isometric action of both the posterior and anterior musculature, and the client is more likely to hold their breath, which again results in the Valsalva maneuver. The arterial pressure gradient elevates, and it could lead to some type of a brain trauma or a hemorrhage or even a stroke. Here is another example of a contraindicated exercise for a diabetic population. As you can clearly see here, the head is actually lower than the heart. So gravitational pull increases the pressure gradient of the arteries in the head, which could again lead to a stroke or some unsavory incident in the brain. Contraindicated exercises we don't do. And relax. Other exercises in the gym that actually have the head lower than the heart includes a decline sit-up like such. So Lewis, let's do 2 repetitions. This would be contraindicated for the same reason as it would be for the bridge. The head is clearly lower than the heart. The pressure gradient is higher in the head as it goes down. If you are indeed a hypertensive individual, this could be potentially hazardous. And stop there. As is a decline dumbbell chest press. So let's have the dumbbells in here. And again, commonly done in many gyms, not hazardous unless you have high blood pressure. In that case, it would be contraindicated and potentially hazardous. While the dumbbell shoulder press, whether it's seated or standing, is an excellent exercise for the shoulders, that is never disputed. The fact is, if you've got someone with high blood pressure, the pushing overhead elevates the blood pressure gradient again. In addition, if you grasp the weight really, really hard, that can also produce the Valsalva maneuver or a breath holding effect, which could impact negatively your blood pressure arterial response and lead to a stroke or potentially busted capillaries in the brain, the eye, etc. So another contraindicated exercise. What we have here is just another variation of a shoulder exercise. Rather than doing a seated dumbbell shoulder press, we can either do a standing dumbbell shoulder press or either a military press with a barbell. Whichever you choose to do, you will not do it on somebody who's got high blood pressure because it is deemed contraindicated. To repeat, the term contraindication means that the risks are way greater than the benefits. If you are found to have done this exercise with a client who has already been diagnosed as a hypertensive and it causes a stroke, you are potentially liable